Good morning. It is Wednesday. I don't know where the camera eye is. Maybe it's right there. Okay. Anyway, I am trying to record this with my new Kindle that I got for Christmas as a gift. And I am kind of technologically dumb. So, just be patient with me. Today is Wednesday, January the 18th. You guys won't get this until this evening because I'm at my shop and I don't have the ability to upload this video at my shop. So today what I thought I'd do is I'd talk a little bit more about crystal grids, specifically about crystal grids for the new year. So, the new year, we all tend to kind of do like these resolutions and things, right? Almost everybody makes them. I've kind of mentioned this before that I don't really do resolutions. I set goals for like service, things that I can do for others. But to set resolutions at the new year, I mean, that's not a bad thing. And by now, statistically, most people have already moved away from the activities that would encourage them to continue their resolutions. I wouldn't say they're quitters. I would say that life is distracting and life has a lot of things going on in it. But what I want to do is I want to help you kind of get your feet back on track, because here's the thing, and I know this kind of works with me this way, so I'm going to assume it works with other people too. When you fall off that wagon of your resolutions, like your weight loss or your dieting or your exercise or your quitting smoking or your being nicer to people, whatever it is, when you fall off your wagon, it's really easy to say, well, there it is, I did it, I fell off, I quit, I'm done, and I'll reset next year, I'll redo resolution next year. It's really easy to do that. It is not as easy to go, okay, I made a mistake, I didn't keep my resolution, I'm not perfect, I'm human, let's get back up, dust off, and keep going. So, with that being said, here is your dust off. Let me help you a little bit. We're going to talk about a crystal grid for good habits or releasing of bad habits. Now, we talked about a few different things. Let's just take smoking. Let's say we're going to stop smoking. I'm not a smoker. I'm just setting this one because I know this is a really popular one. And I don't really want to talk about weight loss because, well, quite frankly, I don't like talking about weight loss. There's a whole myriad of issues around that in my world, and I don't like talking about it. So let's just say we're going to stop smoking. That'll be our get rid of. And let's maybe have a positive. So let's say, let's do encourage self-esteem, okay? Encourage self-esteem. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I just did here. So I made a little tag. It's probably backwards for you guys. I don't know how this crap works. You know me. And here's the other one for stop smoking, okay? Now, crystal grids, I know I've talked about crystal grids before. I'm not sure, I don't remember just offhand how big of a video I've done before. But crystal grids typically are like a handful of anywhere from like 4 to multiple crystals, depending on what you want to do. I'm going to do 5 crystal grids. So let's do stop smoking first. I'm going to start with this little tab. Now this is going to be a movable crystal grid. In theory, this is going to be a movable crystal grid. What you do is you want to take some of that sticky tack. It's office tack. It's the kind of stuff that you would use to like put things on your walls. Let me just find my sticky tack real quick. I don't know why I didn't grab it out before I started. Bad me. Oh, we're building self-esteem. This is a good thing. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of that sticky tack, and you don't need very much of this stuff. This is a good mounting compound for small items and small items that aren't horribly porous. So we just want some little balls of it. I'm making teensy little, like 4 teensy little balls, and this is going to be for our corners. And then I'll make a slightly larger one for in the center. Okay. Now this here, this is a little, this is actually a tile sample from our local business, the Design Center, that's just a few doors down from me. And Laura over at the Design Center, and that's the Design Center and Paint Place, that's in Partyville. So there's your plug. Hi Laura, I hope you're having a good vacation with your mom. She's an artist and she's an amazing person, and she's got a really wonderful shop. And in her shop, she provides service like design service. So it's, remodeling your home and such. But she also carries a lot of really great art from local artisans of all different kinds. And she's a very kind person. And when her samples that she has in her shop for like her tiles and her floors and stuff, when they go out of fashion and the companies bring in new versions of them, she brings the old ones over, so like you can still see the tag on the back. But honestly, if you go to if you don't have a design center type place in your hometown where you can maybe pick this stuff up, places like Restore, the Habitat for Humanity Restore, they have little ceramic tiles that you could buy too, that you could use, and it would make it movable. But honestly, any little surface that you've got that's movable, that's sturdy. These guys I have to kind of sand down one side because they come, one side is highly polished and the other side is dull and natural. So I polished this down. It took me about 40 seconds. So I'm going to take this little pad, this little ceramic tile here, and the first thing I'm going to do is put my stickies on my corners. Okay, and that's just kind of prepping my tile, and then put the sticky in the middle as well. See? Oh, that's not centered. Let's try that. Okay, and let's work on the first one. Let's have that be the stop smoking. Okay, so here's our stop smoking tab. I wrote it down on paper because A, it keeps it simplified, B, it keeps it constant, and C, it's something that I can now attach to the back of my little tray here. Okay, I'm going to turn this thing a little bit so you can watch me do this, hopefully. Okay, so for stopping smoking, one of the crystals that's really good for breaking bad habits is amethyst. It's also specifically good for stopping smoking. So we're going to take amethyst points. You can see those little guys. And you want to take what's called the terminated end. And a terminated end on any crystal is an end that comes to a natural point. With crystals and amethyst and rose quartz and things that are in the crystal family, your point will have 6 facets to it and a natural point. The other end typically has been broken off, so you can kind of see how it's all rough and jagged. Sometimes you'll find crystals that are double terminated, which means both ends are natural and maybe the breaking point was on a side. But you want to take your terminated end, your natural termination, and you want it to point out from the center, okay? So we're going to put all of these little guys so that their little points go out towards the center, or go out from the center so they head out, okay? This is hard to do and still let the camera see what I'm doing. There. Okay, so now we've got all of the little amethysts are stuck on, okay? And you don't have to use blue, you can use any color you want. Now for the center, this is kind of our focal point, okay? For our center, we want to use something like quartz or selenite. So I brought out a big piece of selenite that we could stick in the center, but that seems kind of overpowering. Or we could use quartz, or you can use another amethyst if you like. But I like to use quartz in the center because what that does is that helps to condense all of the energy and draw it together and create a good solid construct. Now, this is kind of bouncing a little. I'm trying not to make you guys sick while I do this. So now we've got this little guy set up. And what you will usually do after you get that set up is you can use either your finger or you can use a polished wand or a terminated crystal wand of some sort. This type has many facets on it, and this is an imitation Vogel. A Vogel cut crystal is a crystal, usually a very clear one. You can see there's some cloud in this one. It's usually a very extremely clear crystal that has been laser cut very precisely so that every single one of its facets is the exact same size as the facet next to it. Imitation ones, they're not quite there. They're real close. So this is an imitation. Actual Vogel cut crystals are very expensive, which is why I have a pair of imitations. But what you want to do is now you have this thing, you have your intention on the back, okay? You have your helping crystals on the front, and now you want to activate this. So you do all of this with intention. You do this with the intention of what it is that you want to do. So I always start at the center, and you draw from the center, go down to your right, across the bottom, back to the center. Come down to your bottom left, across the side, back to the center. Go to your top left, across the top, back to your center. go to your top right, down the side, back to center, give it a clockwise spin, and that helps to activate the energy, and that releases the energy. Now, you would put this, since it's for smoking, what I would do is I would put this near places where you typically would smoke, because it will help. That energy that comes from this construct will help you to remember that you're not picking up the cigarettes, or will help you to decrease some of your desire for the cigarettes. The flip side to this is, if you don't want to buy into the crystal woo-woo aspect of it, the flip side of this is you have just set a subconscious thought in your mind that says, I'm going to stop smoking. Every time I see this thing, that's going to trigger that subconscious thought that's going to encourage that habit, or that it's going to encourage stopping that bad habit. All right? So that's one thing we can do. So then we're going to pull all these little guys off of here. You may have to do a little cleanup on your crystals when you pull them off. That's okay. This sticky tack should come off pretty well. Okay, so we just did stop smoking, right? So now we're going to work on encouraging self-esteem, okay? And for encouraging self-esteem, it would be nice to use rose quartz. I'm not going to, because I don't have enough rose quartz that I care for. But I am going to use one of my personal grids that I like to use for a lot of things. And this grid has the teeniest little crystals. I believe they're from India. They are so tiny. They are called Satyaloka quartz. And I like them. They do have a termination to them. You're going to set them the same way. These are very, very powerful little tiny crystals. They've got a lot of energy packed into a tiny little space. And I like that. So now this grid, we're setting this grid for encouraging our self-esteem. Okay, this is feeling better about ourselves. This is looking in the mirror and not automatically calling ourselves names. Things like that. Okay. And then I like to use a pyramid point in the center because I like the way that that charges. So this is our self-esteem. We're going to charge it the same way we did before. And then we give it a clockwise spin. And we set it in a space, maybe in our bathroom by the mirror, in our bedroom by a mirror, someplace where we'll see it a lot. Okay? And this just helps to remind you that you are encouraging good self-esteem. Now, if you want to take these apart, the thing that you would want to do to take them apart is you'd want to go in reverse. So take your counterclockwise, draw your energy back down, and then we would undo the pyramid construct. Okay? And that kind of wipes the slate clean. And then you can do a cleansing on your crystals before and after you place them, or before you place them and after you remove them. Do it before you place them because then you're working with a nice clean energy. Do it after you remove them to clear the energy that you've just put in all these crystals, okay? And that's a real quick and dirty how you can use some crystals for some New Year's resolutions. And I hope that helps you guys out. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. I'm going to stop standing here and saying to you guys because nobody wants to hear that all day. I hope you're having a great week. I hope that the weather has been kind wherever you are. It's been kind of strange here. And I will see you guys again next Wednesday with something new to talk about. So have a good one. Bye.